the city of Chicago, USA, there stands a house that looks as beautiful on the outside as it is terrifying within. Locals say the walls of this house aren't just made of bricks. They're filled with secrets buried for centuries. They say something happened here long ago, something not just horrifying, but so diabolical that its echo still lingers in these walls. In this video, we'll take you deep into the dark cellar, where a young woman uncovered a secret that perhaps was never meant to be revealed. Did she survive, or did the house claim her forever? To find out, watch the video till the very end. And if you enjoy chilling stories like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because this isn't just the story of a house. This is the curse of the most haunted house in Chicago. The house at 1313 West Waverly Street, nestled in the outskirts of Chicago's historic Pullman district, had been empty for decades. Locals avoided even walking past it at night. The Gothic structure, with its decaying turrets, ivy-draped balconies, and cracked stained glass windows, stood like a rotting relic from a forgotten time. Some called it the Black Veil House. Others just whispered, "Don't look at the third-floor window." The story of the house was buried under layers of urban legend, police reports, and whispered warnings. Some said it was once a sanatorium. Others believed it had been a mortuary with a dark history of stolen corpses and occult rituals. Whatever the truth, people died there. Strange, inexplicable deaths. Some vanished without a trace. Others were found inside pale, wide-eyed, and twisted like they'd seen the devil himself. But to Erica Monroe, a young paranormal documentarian from Milwaukee, trying to make a name for herself, the house was gold. After several moderately successful YouTube mini-docs, she decided she needed something big, something people wouldn't forget. A friend tipped her off to the Waverly House, calling it the American Amityville, only worse. Erica contacted the property manager, a tight-lipped man named Mr. Clemens, who agreed to give her a 3-night window to film before the building was boarded back up for good. "Stay longer if you like," he said in a hoarse voice, "but I wouldn't recommend it." Erica arrived on a fog-laced October afternoon, armed with gear, thermal cameras, EMF detectors, motion sensors, and 2 body-mounted GoPros. She was alone. Her cameraman bailed last minute, citing a bad feeling. She brushed it off as superstition. She didn't need anyone else. She'd already scoped the house online. The structure seemed unstable but manageable. Besides, that raw, decayed aesthetic was what audiences loved. She stepped through the wrought iron gate, which creaked like a scream, and onto the overgrown path. Dead leaves crunched under her boots. Her breath caught in her throat as she gazed at the looming front door. Its intricate carvings had faded over time, but the faint outlines of roses and something resembling faces remained. The door was unlocked. Mr. Clemens had left it slightly ajar to make things easier. Inside it was dark, even though sunlight still touched the windows. The smell hit her instantly: mildew, rot, and something metallic, old blood. She turned on her flashlight and took the first step in. Erica documented everything. She panned across the entryway with her camera, a grand staircase draped in cobwebs, a cracked chandelier with missing crystals, and portraits with faces scratched out. Her audio equipment picked up subtle static, barely noticeable at first. As she walked deeper into the house, she felt it. A shift in the air. The cold wasn't just environmental. It was intentional, deliberate, like something didn't want her there. She set up a small base in the dining room, lighting candles for ambiance and recording her intro. "This is Erica Monroe, and tonight I'll be spending 3 nights inside what many believe is the most haunted house in Chicago. Stay tuned." She didn't notice the candle behind her flicker violently. or the faint sound of breathing just behind her ear. She explored the first floor before nightfall, the parlor still full of moth-eaten furniture, the kitchen where old cans and broken plates sat untouched, and a locked pantry that gave off an overwhelming stench. As darkness consumed the sky, Erica began her formal night investigation. Cameras rolled. EMF detectors blinked erratically in the hallway. Upstairs, doors creaked open and slammed shut, even though no wind was present. Every sound echoed unnaturally. In the library, she discovered something strange, a leather-bound journal half hidden under a loose floorboard. Its entries were in messy, slanted handwriting with words like sacrifice, shadows, and they whisper through the walls. The final entry read, "I buried her in the third-floor room. She won't stop crying. God help me." Erica froze. She hadn't been to the third floor yet. The staircase to the third floor groaned like it was in pain. With each step, the air grew heavier, like walking through syrup. Erica's flashlight flickered. The moment her foot hit the top step, her head throbbed, and she swore she heard a girl's voice whisper, "Don't open the door." There were 3 rooms on the third floor. 2 were empty. The third had a crimson handprint on the door. Erica raised her camera, heart pounding. "I'm about to open the room mentioned in the journal." This might be where the girl was buried. She turned the knob. It didn't budge. She tried again, this time with force. The door creaked open 2 inches. A wave of cold air surged out like a living thing. She reached for her flashlight, but it died. Complete darkness. Her GoPro's night vision flicked on automatically, revealing a pale, child-sized figure in the corner. Its head slowly turned. Then the camera cut to black. Erica gasped and stumbled backward, her shoulders slamming against the third-floor hallway wall. The impact knocked the air from her lungs, but she barely noticed. The GoPro feed was gone. Static hissed in her earpiece, and the house fell into a kind of dead silence, so complete it pressed against her skull, like pressure underwater. The door she had just forced open slowly swung shut behind her. Erica fumbled with her flashlight, tapping it uselessly against her palm. No light. She reached for her phone, but the screen glitched and froze its display, streaked with digital noise like a scrambled TV signal. A sudden wet scratching echoed from behind the door. It was deliberate, slow, as if nails were being dragged along the inside wall. She held her breath. And then the whisper again. "Let me out." Erica bolted down the hallway, her boots thudding across the wooden floorboards that groaned and flexed beneath her. She didn't stop until she reached the second floor, where she collapsed against a dusty settee, her chest heaving. For the first time since arriving, doubt crept in. She'd encountered phenomena before, doors closing, cold spots, even a moving object or two. But this was different. This wasn't a haunting. It felt like the house itself was alive, aware of her and responding. She needed air. She needed to see the sky. Erica descended to the ground floor and threw open the front door. But instead of the street, there was a wall. Cold red bricks sealing the front door from the outside. That wasn't there before. She blinked, reached out, touched them. Solid, rough, fresh mortar. What the hell, heart racing? She checked the side windows. Bricked back door. Panic clawed its way up her spine. She was trapped. And then the air changed again, thicker, damper. From the floor above, something heavy thudded, then footsteps, slow, dragging, as if someone were walking barefoot across the creaking floorboards, but only with one leg working, and they were heading for the stairs. She stumbled back into the dining room, tripping over a busted chair leg. Her flashlight flickered on suddenly, buzzing, faintly illuminating the torn wallpaper and dust-covered portraits. Her equipment, still laid out across the table, was flashing with errors. Every sensor spiked red. EMF maxed-out motion detectors going off in multiple directions. She didn't know where to look. Her breath fogged in the cold. And then creak! The staircase groaned. Something had reached the bottom. She turned to the doorway, nothing, but the sound of breathing returned. Closer now, not behind her, not in the hall. Above her, slowly she looked up. There, hanging from the chandelier, was a girl, pale eyes black as tar, her head lolled to the side unnaturally, her neck elongated by an invisible rope. She twitched, like a marionette pulled by clumsy fingers. Then she smiled and dropped straight into the darkness. But she never hit the floor. She vanished mid-fall. Erica screamed, backing into the wall, her hand fumbling for the journal she'd found earlier. Pages flipped as if by an unseen wind until they stopped on a passage she hadn't noticed before, one written in red ink, not black. Erica stared at the floor. She could still hear the slow scratching from above, but now it was mirrored below. The basement, she hadn't checked it yet. She didn't want to, but the story, if there was any truth to the journal, was down there. Maybe even the girl's remains. And if she could find them, document it, prove it, maybe the house would let her go. Erica grabbed her flashlight and headed toward the basement door. It was already open. The darkness inside pulsed like a heartbeat. The basement stairs were steep and narrow, made of old pine wood warped by time and moisture. As Erica descended, the air grew damper and colder. Her flashlight's beam bounced across cobwebs and stone walls, the edges of the frame almost seeming to ripple like shadows slithered just outside the cone of light. She reached the bottom and stepped onto the concrete floor. It was cold beneath her boots, unnaturally cold, as if the ground had never known warmth. The basement was larger than she expected, stretching far beyond the house's footprint. The smell hit her next: mildew, decay, and something else. Something foul, rotting flesh. To her left was an old coal room, its walls blackened and ceiling low. To her right, what looked like a wine cellar, the racks still lined with shattered bottles. The stone archways were covered in strange carving symbols that didn't match any religion she knew. At the far end of the basement, beneath a collapsed beam and a wall stained with something dark, she spotted it, a wooden hatch in the floor. Just like the journal said, beneath the floor. She hesitated. Her fingers trembled as she reached out and tugged the ring handle. The wood creaked, resisting before finally giving way. Dust and a wave of frigid air burst upward. Beneath the hatch was a cramped dirt chamber, shallow and square, and in the center of that space, half covered in old linen and mold, was a small body. Child-sized, the linen had once been white, now stained deep brown and black with age and fluids that had long since dried. The smell was suffocating. Erica covered her mouth with her sleeve, trying not to gag. She whispered, "Oh my God!" Beside the body was a box, a small rusted tin container. She reached in carefully and lifted it out. Inside she found doll parts, a porcelain face with no eyes, tiny cloth arms, and a small note folded neatly. Unfolding the paper, she read aloud. She dropped the note as her flashlight flickered again. A cold wind whipped through the chamber, even though there were no windows, no vents, no possible way for wind to exist down here. And then the sound started, not footsteps this time, not scratching, low, inhuman. Coming from the walls themselves, echoing like a looped recording in a language she couldn't understand. Every stone vibrated with it. The bones in her body vibrated with it. The house was waking up. Erica stumbled back, the tin box clattering to the floor. As she turned to run, her foot caught on a root pushing through the wall, and she fell hard, scraping her elbow on jagged stone. Blood smeared across the floor. The chanting grew louder. She scrambled to her feet just as the candles, those she had lit hours ago upstairs, began to flicker down in the basement. Her face stretched pale and hollow. Her black eyes had multiplied 5 on each side like a spider's. Her mouth was wide and dripping with some black fluid that hissed when it hit the stone. She stood at the edge of the hatch, head tilted. Erica turned and bolted up the stairs 2 at a time, slipping once, catching herself with a bruising thud to her shin. Behind her, the basement echoed with a scream not of fear, not of pain, but of pure rage. She reached the first floor, slamming the door shut behind her and shoving a chair beneath the knob. But the door thudded immediately once, twice, 3 times. Erica backed away from the table, heart pounding so loudly it echoed in her ears. The candle flickered violently, as if reacting to her breath or her fear. The temperature plummeted. Her flashlight died. Darkness swallowed the room. And then from every corner of the house, a unified whisper rose, "You stay."